problem on the way, I don't think it's quite as easy as that, is the issue of the treaty. It's not as easy because it's not a simple matter of fact. In fact, yes, the New Zealand government, the Crown in New Zealand, is the repository of the treaty obligations. The Crown in the United Kingdom is irrelevant to that. It has no role to play in that regard at all. It's all within New Zealand's competence and lies at the heart of New Zealand Crown's responsibility, in other words, New Zealand government. But many Maori do not feel that. Many Maori still have a deep feeling that somehow the existence of the monarchy is a protection of treaty rights. Now, the problem with resolving that issue is, of course, that governments have another public to think of as well at the same time. And the way in which that is resolved could cause immense political difficulties, whatever government is in power at the time that happens. We might sort of call it a sort of Urewera National Park moment in our history. And that can be quite destructive of where we want to get to as a country, as far as many of us are concerned.
Tags, 704, go 150 on it. And 125, bid now 150, 125, bid now 150, 150, bid now 175, bid 150, bid now 175, bid 150, bid 175, bid now 2 and a quarter. You're 175, you're now 2 and a quarter, 175, bid now 2 and a quarter, bid 2 and a quarter, 175, bid now 2 and a quarter, 175, bid now 2 and a quarter, 2 and a quarter, bid now 275, bid 2 and a quarter, bid now 275, bid 275 on it. You're 2 and a quarter, you're 275, bid now 3 and a quarter, 275, bid now 3 and a quarter, bid 3 and a quarter, bid 275, bid now 3 and a quarter, bid 3 and a quarter. 3 and a quarter, bid now 375, bid 3 and a quarter, bid now 375, bid 3 and a quarter, bid now 375, bid 375, bid 375, bid 3. So you're out. I need 375 on it. 375. It's at 3 and a quarter here. Now 375, bid 3 and a quarter, bid now 375, bid 3 and a quarter, bid now 375. Last call, 375. Fair warning, 375. You're 3 and a quarter. I need 375. Anybody else? Here it goes. 375. You on back in? 375, bid 375, bid 375, 375, bid now 4 and a quarter. 4 and a quarter on it. He said 4 and a quarter, bid now 475. 4 and a quarter, bid down 475, 4 and a quarter, bid down 475, 4 and a quarter, bid down 475, 4 and a quarter, bid 475, bid down 5 and a quarter. You're 475 there, now 5 and a quarter, 475, bid 5 and a quarter there, 575, sir, didn't get you, didn't get you. 575, 575, bid down 6 and a quarter. 575, bid down 6 and a quarter, 6 and a quarter, bid 675 there, now 7 and a quarter. You're at 675, bid down 7 and a quarter, 675, bid down 7 and a quarter, 675, bid down 7 and a quarter, bid 7 and a quarter, 7 and a quarter, bid down 775. You're at 7 and a quarter here, now 775, 775, bid now 8 and a quarter, 775, bid now 8 and a quarter, bid 8 and a quarter, 775, bid now 8 and a quarter. You're at 775, bid now 8 and a quarter, 8 and a quarter, bid now 875, at 8 and a quarter, bid now 875. You're at 8 and a quarter, bid now 875, bid 875. 875 on it. 875, bid now 9 and a quarter, 875, bid now 9 and a quarter, bid 9 and a quarter. You're out. 9 and a quarter. Don't lose it now. Go 9 and a quarter. 875, bid down 9 and a quarter, 875, bid down 9 and a quarter. Fair warning, 9 and a quarter. Last call at 9 and a quarter. Here it goes. Anybody else? Sold. 875, 875. Number now 431 at 875.
People against selling national assets say part of their concern is a foreign takeover of their country. A political party that promised to keep New Zealand Kiwi did well in last year's national election.
If you don't care for land and language, what else is there of you? That's why it's fundamental. And that's why the mass majority of New Zealanders are opposed to this total sellout.
Foreign ownership on
Foreign ownership on
No Essex sales, no Essex sales,
No Essex sales, no Essex sales.
The family farming model is the enduring model in New Zealand. Whether it's corporates or syndicates or foreign investors, they come in when we look cheap. They find out that if you don't live it and love it, you can't make any money out of it. They don't have the commitment, and generally they melt away again.
Foreign ownership hire.
Foreign ownership hire.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
New Zealand already has a very large current account deficit, and one of the key reasons for that is the very high level of foreign ownership in the New Zealand economy, which means all those profits and dividends flow out of New Zealand every year, and that adds to our current account deficit and the imbalances in our economy.
Foreign ownership hire.
Foreign ownership hire.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
The leader of the opposition has a fair point, because this is the man that sold Telecom, State Energy, the Post Office, Air New Zealand, Tourist Hotel Corporation, New Zealand Steel, Petro Corp, the Government Print Office, the DFC, the National Film Unit, Rural Banking Finance, Shipping Corp, New Zealand Liquid Fuels, Maui Gas, Syn Gas, Forest Cutting Rights, the Health Computing Service and Communicate New Zealand.
Foreign ownership hire.
Foreign ownership hire.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
The government has been talking about loosening the controls around foreign investment in New Zealand. The technical advisory group consists of 5 lawyers from 5 corporate law firms who are all working or involved in foreign investment in New Zealand.
Foreign ownership hire.
Foreign ownership hire.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
Labour sold 6.6 times as much land as National has in the time that we've been in office.
6.6.
Just what is a strategic asset? What is sensitive land?
Foreign ownership hire.
Foreign ownership hire.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
No asset sales, no asset sales.
The great plan of the government to solve our problems is to sell off our assets. Now I wonder what the private sector investors will do when they've bought up our power companies. I wonder what the private sector investors will do. Or they're going to the mums and dads, the National Party says. The mums and dads. What about the mums and dads that can't put money together to save because of the rising cost of living? They will lose ownership of our assets. They will gain nothing. And the mums and dads that National promised for Contact Energy, the mums and dads, you know what happened? Those shares went to the big corporates. That's where they've ended up. That's where they've ended up, the big corporates. And not only that, Mr. Key, they've ended up in the hands of foreigners. You know, most of the $1.5 billion in dividends from Contact Energy doesn't go back to New Zealanders who once owned it. It goes overseas. That money is going overseas that makes our country worse off.